The judge got angry at JT's lawyer and revoked Justin's license. Also, Britney just sold a movie. It's time for an update with Mr. Christopher Melcher. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. So glad to have the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher Melcher phoning in. How you doing, sir? Welcome back.
Pretty good. Just taking one last little summer trip with my kid before school starts, but definitely happy to be here with you on this story.
I love you. Always make time. I'm trying to fit it in. He always does, and we keep you guys informed while still trying to make sure we have our own personal time. So thank you for fitting in. Look, I don't even know if anybody cares anymore. But I wanted to bring you in because I find this fascinating. In that Justin just had his license suspended, which is standard. That's nothing that's like abnormal. People may be mad or calling it out, but that's standard in this case, I assume. But what I want to get your thoughts really on is the fact that the judge was clearly mad and threatened this gag order against Justin's lawyers. And just a quick recap so people understand. Justin's lawyer's been out there basically saying, my client's innocent. He wasn't intoxicated. His drinking pal was driving and the cops let it happen. And therefore, it's all going to get thrown out because the case should be chucked. And there's been all this press out there trying to deem this. In fact, here was the judge, the lawyer
Moments
outside.
ago, his lawyers addressed a crowd outside the courtroom and said that Timberlake was not intoxicated when police arrested him. His lawyer also says
this is
that
all
the
just
police
noise
made many
to me. It seems like because they're all out there, and clearly the judge is getting frustrated, has now threatened a gag order. Christopher, what is your take on all this? Do you think this is all PR spin to try to get Justin to seem like nothing went wrong, and then they're just gonna settle and all this will go away? What's actually happening here?
Well, sure. There's so much media attention on it. There's going to be spin. Now, just on what happened, this is an administrative hearing, not a criminal hearing. So when somebody gets pulled over and charged with driving under the influence, there's going to be that criminal case going, but there's also going to be action against their driving license, this privilege to drive. And that's done by the Department of Motor Vehicles or whatever they're calling it in whatever state. But when somebody has refused to submit to a chemical test, blood, breath, or urine, depending on what they're doing in that particular state, the license gets revoked. That is true. Probably in every state. The reason should be obvious because someone who is intoxicated could simply avoid any punishment potentially by just saying, "I'm not going to submit to a test." And now there's going to be a question, well, were they just intoxicated, like maybe the prosecutor would allege in the criminal case, or maybe they were just sleepy or other reasons why they performed so poorly on the field sobriety test. So the prosecutor, the police really want to get that chemical test to show, like, you didn't just show bad on the test, on the physical test, but you were chemically, your blood alcohol level was over the limit. Here he refused to do it. So the consequence by law is revocation of the license. This should have been a short hearing. There should be, whatever objections he wants to raise, but all of the theatrical, performance that we heard about through his lawyer was just completely unnecessary and was actually kind of chided by the administrative officer.
Yeah, that was they basically saying stop or else, threatening the gag order, didn't instill one. And then according to the reports, the lawyer didn't say anything leaving this hearing, clearly taking the note. But I made a point to get it out there before that this doubt. Well, why did the friend do it? And this should be chucked. And this is all clearly attempts and probably smart on Justin's lawyer. Get out there as you can, try to plant the seeds that all is okay. And then I guess that's my next question. Like, what are the odds of an actual settlement here? What's very interesting to me is they haven't revealed any of the body cam footage or anything else. We applied for it. I actually got a long email back sort of explaining that this is an open case and that they weren't going to be sharing yet. But what is the likelihood of us actually getting to the bottom of this? This idea that he wasn't intoxicated, wouldn't it all be cleared on the video? Wouldn't they have pretty clear proof based on the tests they did? Why, at this point, given how aggressive his lawyer's being trying to deny it, do you think it's kind of Alec Baldwin syndrome where prosecutors might go, all right, we'll test this, we'll prove it? Like, what's actually going to happen, you think, here?
Well, sure. So there's a couple things at play is that a lot of people read the headlines, but they don't follow the story like, you and the audience here is doing. Most of the time they just see, hey, somebody got arrested, and obviously that's really harmful to that person if they actually didn't commit a crime. Or maybe they'll see the lawyer then coming out with all of these claims, and they'll say, oh, well, maybe he's not guilty, and just not think more of it. So what kind of happens over time is these cases sometimes kind of go away, and there's a deal made, maybe from the prosecutor doesn't want to invest the resources in fighting a high profile case, or just Justin figures, hey, I'm not going to take the chance because he knows he's going to get convicted, and he makes a deal, and then he'll have some statement of, maintaining his innocence and just wanting to move forward with his life. So I think this is what we're kind of seeing is just posturing at this point. There's no reason to make so much noise at a hearing over the revocation of a license when that is the predetermined outcome when you don't submit to a test.
So he's stoic in the courtroom. He clearly was smart, didn't make any scene, did what he had to do. What do you think the odds are of a settlement at this point? And do you think all this talk and spin could actually hurt him getting a good deal?
Well, he should make a deal if, he thinks that there's a good chance he's going to be convicted, because in a deal, he could potentially get less time. He avoids the publicity of a trial when all of this information, the body cam, the audio recordings, all that stuff is going to definitely come out. Everyone's going to be looking at the case then. So he's lucky that that the police are not releasing that information now, because I got to imagine that would be really embarrassing. The other thing is that Justin would have had that information by now. His lawyer at this point in the case would have the audio and video. And
all that would be given to him so he could know, yeah.
He has to have it. He has to have it for his defense. I mean, we just had a hearing. He definitely has it. And, why not leak that? Why, and if it was going to be helpful.
You mean if he's really sober and it was wrongfully pulled over, exactly, he would try to leak it or something, you think.
We'd all have seen that by now. And it would have been him putting it out there. And so the only reason why we haven't seen it is, one is, because it probably is not helpful to him. So my prediction, and again, I'm not right most of the times for whatever it's worth. My prediction is that we will see a quiet settlement after some more of this noise is made, and he's not going to ever go to trial on this.
Is there a version of this where they could hide the body cam from us? Like, could they justify it in some weird way?
No. I mean,
so that'll go out at some point.
Yeah, the agency could have released it, but there's an exception to public records requests in the U.S. when there is a pending criminal case going on or investigation, so they can withhold that for a bit. But once the thing goes to criminal trial, then that would be a public trial. That evidence would be admitted and shown to the jury, and then become public. So definitely at that stage, it's going to happen.
Well, while I have you, I did want to react to this. Sorry, I was trying to get the Instagram, but I think it's gone. Britney Spears' bestseller, The Woman in Me, is now snapped up by Universal. John M. Chu is attached to direct. Britney had made some posts about how excited some news was coming. One of her favorite producers, Mark Platt, is involved as well, who is working on Wicked and worked on some others as well. But what do you think of this? I mean, happy for Britney. It just seems like that always just part of the plan, that her team was like, look, you don't want to do music anymore. You want to sort of chill out. Well, write a book. Let's sell the rights. This is kind of smart, easy money for her. If she's comfortable with it, then I guess support it. What are your thoughts on her getting this out there and so on?
Well, I think it's good. One is she has control, hopefully, over how this is depicted. And that's the thing about these cases is, when we're seeing them in court, you have very little control over how this thing develops. And but with a book or now a movie project, you have a lot of control or say in how you're portrayed. So I think that's a good platform for her. Now, sometimes, the adaptation of a book to film is not so good. So hopefully, this will be done in a really great way that'll be exciting for everyone to watch. I enjoyed the book. It was kind of a quick read, which I liked, and it gave me some insight about her that I just didn't know, and it kind of a lot of things made sense after reading that. And so hopefully the movie can kind of go into a little bit more depth on her background.
Yeah, I mean, there's a story here for sure. There's drama, all of it, family betrayal. It's a story. I mean, the book was slightly disappointing because I knew it all already. There wasn't a lot of reveals, but I think you're right for just a general movie for the general public who just keep assuming she's crazy and not understand the whole backstory. This could be an eye-opening piece and great music. And yes, the rumors are she has control over who gets to star as her, etc. So smart move for someone who's not wanting to be out there in the public as much. All right, let me just make some money and control my rights finally, the way I'm perceived and the way it's told. I can't blame her for wanting to do this. So good on Britney. Britney's getting the wins while Justin's being stoic, dealing with the losses of, look, he should have known better. That's my frustration here, Christopher. Is obviously this happens a lot, but to see folks like Gayle King and Chris Cuomo and everybody sort of like, it's no big deal. Justin's a good guy. Why are we so bothered? Because he got behind that wheel of a moving vehicle and potentially killed somebody. We should always take that seriously. Of course it happens, but it'd be nice to see Justin take some accountability for this. And I think we all probably would have moved on faster. What is it with celebrities refusing to take any sort of accountability in these actions? I don't get it anyway, but we'll see what happens. Any final word, Chris, before we wrap this up?
No. I mean, obviously this is serious stuff. And, I've known people, unfortunately, been killed in drunk driving accidents. So, this is nothing to take lightly. And for him to kind of say, hey, I only had the one martini defense, really is not taking responsibility or showing how serious it is to have alcohol and then drive. So we will see. If he did something wrong, I hope he is held accountable.
Right. Well said. We will see. If you guys want to follow Christopher, make sure to go on over to his Twitter at @C_divorce. Follow him there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell for all alerts. Smash the like button as well. All this will help the engagement. And tell us your thoughts down below. What do you think of this just in case? Will he settle? And what about the Britney movie? Excited? Nervous? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.